the same place. Hello everybody. I'm really, really glad to be here and meet all of you and to be in New York for the first time. But I saw
turn on the light, Alia, so that we can see you a little better.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah, if you just turn it down.
Thank you.
Lights, camera, action! There we go. Now what?
Shukran. So, actually, I will start to talk about a little bit about myself, even before I joined the Freedom Theater. Before coming back to Palestine, in a way, I came from a family that my mother used to be a refugee. She was a refugee in Lebanon. She's originally from Haifa, and she was a fighter, like armed fighter in Lebanon against the Israeli occupation and all this oppressing system that used to be in Lebanon. My father also, he was with the PLFP, and he was also a fighter. So I came from a family that put their life on the risk for freedom and for Palestine. After Lebanon, they moved, and we lost the war against the Israeli, of course, and we went to Tunisia. After that, I lived in Baghdad, all this war, like since 1989 until like 1996, when Oslo Agreement happened, and we went back to Palestine. And I remember so well in that time, I was young, like I was 13 years old, something like that, and I remember my father, the fighter, how he was so excited, to be honest with you. He's ashamed now of that, but this is what happened. He was so excited for the idea of peace, that we're going back, like we are now everywhere as a PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, but now we are going to have some peace, and somehow. Okay, we're not going back to, like my mother, she's not going back to Haifa, and somehow, but at least we are not going to be in diaspora for all that time. So he went back to Palestine so excited, and I remember the Palestinian talking how we're going to share the settlement with the Israelis. So I'm sharing this because this is a new concept, because you meet people who used to live all their life in Palestine, and this is a new thing that I think is maybe important for you to see that part of people, because we are thousands went back after Oslo to Palestine. So in the beginning, I remember the peace, like the quiet peace for a few months, it's happening, and the people were also excited for that. And then things start to change bit by bit to turn to be the horrible situation which is turning out, which is the Intifada. So myself as a woman who went through all these kind of things, and with a background of fighting for freedom and like living for something is maybe more noble than just living, I was thinking about, I'm not free. I got this feeling that I'm not free. I got this feeling of disappointment. I got this feeling of being fighter for freedom who lost the war and somehow. And he lost it with our resistance also. So among all these kind of feelings, I was searching for something to maybe protect myself, or maybe to know myself, or maybe to not going through all these kind of things, because it's so overwhelming. I remember in the first Intifada, I turned to be so religious, I wanted to follow Hamas in one point of my life. Like, because at that point, I felt all the Palestinian parties, they lost, and they betrayed us as a Palestinian people. And Hamas, in that time, are the only one who's fighting for us. This was overwhelming feelings for all the Palestinians. Because I remember in the Intifada, you can see, oh, today we lost only 90 people, which is good. Because in some days, you lost 30, 300, and 400 for one day. So I remember so well that point when I wanted to kill myself maybe, or I wanted to go to that direction because I couldn't handle to live, because I have no other resource. So I went through many stages of my life, like when you get to the point as a human being, you want to die to be liberated, maybe to liberate your soul from this reality that you can't handle. And I'm not talking about myself. There's many girls, and there are many young people do it, and they went to the last line, and they lose that. And because maybe I was surrounded by family, they supported me, and maybe friends or whatever, I realized, no, this is not the case, and realized that they're fooling us and they're using us, and that was obvious after the result of the second intifada. So I went to art. I studied fine arts. I have this interest in art since I was young. And like recently I realized why I was interested for art. And yesterday I was having a talk with Nabil on the airplane. I think why I choose art, even before I go to the theater, I studied fine arts. Maybe the thing is, the most amazing thing about art, and especially in theater, is the idea of creating a new reality, starting from imagination. Because I believe that you can't change anything, starting just from the floor and from reality. If you didn't create what you want to be, and what's the new reality, and how it could be, against what's really happening, the horrible thing is happening, you're not going anywhere. So this is my key. I went to art and then led myself to theater because the idea, the magic word is imagination. I imagine me being free. I imagine Palestine where people living together in peace. I imagine Palestine with equal rights for everybody. I imagine Palestine where women can be really free and liberated. And this is really honest, and this is really what I'm trying to live for, or living under this concept of morality. So I used to work before I go to the Freedom Theater as a trainer, human development trainer. I used to work around theater and arts, but I never get so involved with theater. So I took some courses in theater to use it in my trainings. So I went to Jordan, I worked with Action Aid and some organization like International to train and use theater because I realized how when you use theater, it's really, I used many methods, but in theater really people can go inside of themselves and people can realize many things they can't realize with any other tool. The communication, creating common ground, all these kind of things that NGOs work and human development methods focus on. So I was in Amman. I know I heard about the Freedom Theater, but I never had the courage to go there. I was in Amman working with organization, and because I had some trainings, but they were really successful in my organization through theater. So my manager kept telling me that, you know, Alia, you're from Palestine, and we have the Freedom Theaters coming to Jordan, and we're giving playback theater workshop. So I was so excited. I went. I took the course, and it was Ben Rivers at that time, and he started telling me about the Freedom Bus. And in that time in September, they went to the first Freedom Bus, and then I waited until I finished my contract. I went back to Palestine and started working as a coordinator. And after we finished the Freedom Bus, I worked as stage manager, props maker, many things. I don't want to leave the Freedom Theater. Please, anything I want to do, I don't want to leave this place. It's a really difficult place, crazy place, with many things, but it's so organic when everything can be possible in it. Yeah, this is the craziness of this place. It's not structured in some way, like I have to go this way. Anything is possible in that place. So, after the Freedom Bus, which is the most amazing experience of my life, when we talk theater and we go to these places, when we liberate theater in somehow. Like usually people come to some stages or theater and watch the play and they go. But now I felt in the Freedom Bus we liberate theater in somehow and make it movable and go to the places where it's really needed. The places that people in direct confrontation, daily confrontation with the Israeli army, living in horrible situation, demolishing, arresting and killings in times also. So when we went there and we heard the story and we played the story in front of people, I get in the reaction and from the people over there, they always keep telling us, we tell the story and we feel sympathized. But this is the first time we see our story. And this is also helpful. Like in the playback theater method, which I really appreciate so much, people said that, okay, we're not just telling, we're telling and we see ourselves over there. And that's give us distance that we can maybe work on it, and we try to find a new way to resist or to support ourselves in somehow.